Guys, I'm literally obsessed with eating videos at the moment. Ooh, yeah. An eating video on TikTok is like what's getting me through right now. People my age, they're smoking, they're doing drugs. Me, I'm watching an uncut video of a woman on TikTok eating chicken Alfredo in America. And that's what's getting me through. And I don't want judgment. I do not want any judgment because, yeah, mukbangs have been a safe space for me since I was 12 years old and I had no friends at school. Because every day I'd come home from school and there was a Korean mukbanger who would make Korean food on a little grill in front of her. She had a big white fluffy husky and then she'd chow down and I felt like I had a friend. And I don't think that's something to make fun of. So if anyone's laughing, click off. I'm serious. No, it gets to a point, guys, because this is me being honest with you. And if I can't be honest with you, then what can I be? You know, I can be a star. That's what we're going to learn today, how to be a star when you're feeling a little bit worthless. It's a little bit on brand if we think about it, because Kit Costello is a star. And I say that because it's a mantra I've been telling myself when I didn't feel like one. And it quickly became my brand after I got it tattooed on me. Fun fact, when I got a tattoo, I was so depressed after getting it that I couldn't even use the star emoji. And that's how you know it was serious. Like, that depression kicked in. On the way home from getting my tattoo, I looked up on Safari on my phone because I refused to download the Google app. And I said, how long do I have to wait until I can get my tattoo removed? And they said 6 weeks. And I said, oh, I don't know if I can last that long with this tattoo. I don't know what's gonna... Guys, welcome back to Self-Interrupted, by the way. Yeah. Self-Interrupted with Kit Costello. I'm your host, Kit Costello. And like I said, today we're talking about how to be a star. What a strong way to start the episode. Mukbangs, depression, star, and regret. Right. And there's more of that to come in the catch-up of the week. Because if you don't know, we like to do a catch-up of the week here on the podcast before we get into the topic of the week. So first, let's get into the catch-up of the week. Because I wasn't here last week, so we have things to talk about. Yes, the rumors are true. I wasn't here last week. Let's not dwell on the past, guys. My God. I'm trying to keep up appearances and you keep bringing me down. Yes, I wasn't here last week. I can only apologize. I did record an episode. It just wasn't up to my... It was up to my standards, but I was a little bit too vulnerable in it. I'm going to be honest. Like, it was a topic about transphobia. And I was just like, ooh... I let down one too many of my guards. I'm going to be honest. And I was just like, I just don't want that on the internet. Gonna be real. But one day we will talk about that. I did talk about it in a Substack recently. Hey, Substack plug. If you haven't followed the Substack already, go ahead and do so. I uploaded a Substack called That's a Man, Bro, My Life with Transphobia. And I talk more about it in there. For some reason, I feel less, I don't know, it's a little less intense to write than to talk about it for an hour. So if you want to learn more about what happened and why I wanted to talk about transphobia on the podcast, feel free to go over to my Substack, Kit Costello, or Self-Interrupted with Kit Costello, and read it over there. But yes, I didn't upload an episode last week. I can only apologize. We are very close to ending the season though, so I was like, oh, what about a little break just for a week? Anyway, another update. I was gonna read off my phone, but I just want to give you updates just like generally. I got a Dyson Airwrap. Guys, if you don't know my hair journey, my hair is breaking off. Need to find a way to save this queen, the queen being my hair. And right now it's Dyson Airwrap time. No, it is. Dyson Airwraps famously are like £500. I found one on eBay for £185. Thank you so much. I am a bargain hunter. I know you're thinking, Kit, that's so disgusting. Like secondhand hair product. And you'd be right, because it did arrive with some hair in it. But I'm sorry, guys, I saved money. And I wasn't going to spend £400-500 on a Dyson Airwrap, because I'll tell you what, when it came, I was not gagging over the quality. It works. It works very well. I really like it. I still need to get used to it a little bit. But the quality, I was like, what is this, honey? It's giving like Amazon Basics. You know, it's not giving like, oh, this is £500. Like, I know that if I spent £500 on that, I would be PSSED'd off, pissed off. Second update, which is pretty urgent, I do have a spot on my chin. And if you're watching the video episode and you pointed it out, let's not be friends, because this is personal. This is a family matter. Family being just between me, myself, and I. It's a 3-person household and it's just me in the house. I don't, touch wood, I don't like normally break out. Fashion Week's coming up, which, that's an update in and of itself, girl. I am not a huge fan of Fashion Week. To my models out there, you will understand the last minuteness of Fashion Week is not something I thrive on. I like structure. I like notice. So when I get an email saying that I need to be in London in less than 40 minutes and I'm on the farm, I do stress out a little bit. Just to go to the casting and then be told that I'm not good enough and just like be asked to leave. You know, it's not my scene. Also, actually doing runway shows, it's just like all of this for what? Like, you don't get paid a lot. It's a lot of stress. And I'm such an anxious person when it comes to like runways and that kind of thing. I'm very good on like a photo shoot set. But when it comes to doing runway, I'm like, oh, can we not talk about that? It gives me the same feeling as doing a school show when you were like younger. You know, when you do a nativity when you're younger, it's very that coded. Like me playing Jesus Christ. Actually, no, I didn't. I used to play Joseph. Guys, don't talk about it. Like a transgender queen. But like, that is so transgender going to a Catholic school, being picked to play Joseph and wanting to play Mary. Like, wait, let me be the Virgin Mother. Why can't I be the Virgin? What about what if we cast me as a trans kid to play the Virgin Mother? Like, I don't feel like anyone would cause chaos over that. Right. Right. Oh, also, other update of the day that's not on my notes, but I just want to talk about it. Today I went to the doctor's I was meant to, okay, I wasn't going to say, but I was meant to be getting testosterone blocker shot today. Right. Testosterone blocker is a shot that you get to block your testosterone. It was going to be the first time I did it. I went to the doctors and they're like, we can't do it. We need approval from someone else. And I was like, okay, grand, whatever. What a waste of my time. 8:40, by the way, my appointment was. Okay, so I had to walk to the doctors at 8:40. Freakish. And then love that. Freakish. Love calling someone a freak. Freak and a loser are my favorite insults because I just think it's like a classic. Like, you can't outdo the doer when it comes to, like, you're just such a freak. Why being such a freak? Like, it's freakish. Why are you telling me that I should come to a doctor's appointment for you to give me my gender affirming drug only for you to decline it in a little bit of a transphobic laced way? Oh, we don't want to give that to her. Why don't you want to give it to me? Wait a minute. What? What's the reason? Like, give me the transphobic. Nope, not. Oh, don't. Okay, give me the transgender drug, not the transphobic drug. Anyway, they declined me. I'm gonna go back another time this week. Yada yada yada. My village local cafe is next door, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna queen out in there. I'm gonna journal, and I've already had my coffee in the morning, so I'm gonna get. Let's just get a fresh orange juice, I told myself. Perfect. Walk in, freshly squeezed orange juice, £2.95. I scream a little bit, but I said, freshly squeezed orange juice. I'm prepared to pay the price, right? Pay the price. Sorry, I stumbled on my words a little. So, of course, Apple Pay comes out. I tap. My payment goes through. They turn around, they being the barista, and she is looking up and down in the fridge, and I'm like, oh, they don't have it. They don't have the drink that I just purchased. This seems a bit corrupt, seems a bit fraudulent. And then the manager comes out, oh, sorry, we don't have the drink. We can give you something else. So I'm looking up and down, I'm like, what do you have? All I see is sparkling and still water. And in my mind, that's not £2.95 worth. Obviously, I don't say this. I say, oh, okay, what do you have? And they said, well, we have apple juice. And I was like, gorgeous. A freshly pressed apple juice? How could I decline that? I go over to my seat and I look over to them and they have a Co-op carton of apple juice and they're pouring it into a glass. And it's this point where I was just like, oh, it's just one of those days. Like, I get turned away from a gender affirming drug, and now I get turned away from having my freshly squeezed orange juice only to be given carton apple juice from the Co-op, which, for reference, a carton of apple juice from the Co-op is maybe 95p, and I've just paid £2.95 for a glass, which, by the way, is half filled with ice. It's just like, it gets to a point. So I was journaling. I had my journal out and I just said, baby, let's tap in. I did about 5 pages. I have things to write about at the moment, guys. I was just going a little bit cuckoo more. Speaking of my journal, I do have a Paper Republic journal, which is like a leather casing for my journal. And I've never felt so mysterious chic girl in a cafe. My village do not care about my Paper Republic journal, but I can guarantee you, when I go to my local cafe in North London, they're going to queen out. They will. And they'll love it. Okay, now it's time to look at my notes because I feel as though I've run out. Okay, 100 subscribers on Substack. Celebrations. Substack is a very pretentious place to be because everyone's like, oh, a bit selective about who they subscribe to. And I'm very excited to have hit 100 and I think I'm on 120 plus subscribers on Substack now, which I'm very excited about. I got my hair done last week, hashtag get your hair done challenge, because famously my hair is breaking off, and it was really nice for them in the appointment to just let me know that. They did confirm it. They said, oh, your hair is breaking off. And I said, well, yes, I know. And they started pulling my hair, and they started saying, yeah, no, this bit's broken as well. And I said, yeah, you didn't have to, baby, I can see. I'm looking in the mirror as well, queen. They're pulling my hair out. Literally, it's breaking off in their hands. Oh, yeah, then this is really bad. And I was like, yeah, I know. And then they didn't even cut my hair. I thought I was going to get a haircut because I get it done. You know, I work with the salon, and I didn't get my hair cut. I just got it colored, which is fine. But I was like, oh, because then they did my hair and then they just started putting heat on it. And I was like, you just told me not to put heat on my hair, and now you're putting a blow dryer and hair tongs on my hair. So, guys, what's the storyline we're going with here? Hairdressers are so funny like that. They're like, you can never use heat on your hair again. But because we want to use your hair on social media, it needs to look good. So we're going to be using heat on your hair today. Love it. Also, if I get any Fashion Week jobs, RIP to my hair, because those queens behind the scenes, when you do a runway show, bitch, oh, they're gathering your hair. They said, oh, you know about heat protecting spray? And I said, well, look, yes, I've got. And they said, well, we don't use it here. There's no time. We're just going to put 300 degrees of heat on your hair, and it's just going to disintegrate a little bit. But that's the beauty of Fashion Week, is it? Because it looks like my hair's kind of falling out in clumps a bit, you know? What else? Went to Emma's quite a lot last week. Apologies, Emma, for the overstay. I think I stayed like 2 nights at Emma's last week. We did a couple of things. I recorded a visualizer for her new song. We had Vietnamese food. I really love getting like summer rolls at the moment. Just a cheeky, sexy little tofu summer roll. You cannot go wrong. It has a dipping sauce. Love her. And that's all I need. Also, oh my God, Emma, if you're listening to this, I'm dreaming of tofu vegan at the moment. So please, can we tap in? I love talking to my friends through the podcast because sometimes I'm like, ugh, I know I'm going to forget this. So I just, as I'm thinking I need to say it on the podcast, Emma, I'm dreaming of tofu vegan. After Fashion Week, can we get it? I'm trying to think of a day. I don't know when I'm free, but I'll let you know. And other Emma, if you're listening as well, please join in with the festivities. Oh, after recording the visualizer at Emma's and getting Vietnamese food, we actually went on a little night out, a spontaneous one, because I wasn't meant to be staying at Emma's that night, but I ended up staying there. And we actually went to a gay bar, and it was fully booked. And I was like, wait, I didn't want to pull the like, do you know who I am card out, but not in the sense that like I'm famous. It was like, oh, I'm transgender. Like, I feel like I'm like the peak. Like, I feel like you should just let me in on that base. Like, babe, let me in. And not everyone in there was queer. And that was pissing me off a little bit, because I was like, I know that there's one too many straight men in there, and that's going to piss me off. And I'm not saying that they can't be in there, but when it's packed and there's a bunch of lesbians and trans people outside, let the queers in first. Got to be honest. Like, this is our safe space. But listen, if you're straight and you're listening to this, you're more than welcome, I guess. But if it's packed, you've got to, it gets to a point where you have to like get up, come over to me, apologize, buy me a drink, offer me your seat and a massage at the same time. Right. I then slept over at Emma's. Oh no, before that we played pool in a pub, because we had to go to a pub because the gay bar was full. So we went to a pub and we played pool. I played pool for the first time since Christian Youth Club. Don't get me started. And I won. Yeah, I did. I won against 2 lesbians. Hello, lesbians, if you're listening. I won against those queens, and I'm very, very proud of that, because I wasn't sure if I was going to win. It was actually so much fun. I love playing pool. It's just such a giggle. Like, bring back team sports a little bit. Like, even though I did go to Catholic school, all boys Catholic rugby school, that is, and the, you know, trenches, had no friends, etc. I do think back to like playing rugby and football, and I love that. Like, I do thrive. I'm very competitive. I'm a very competitive person. And that competitive streak does come out specifically when I was playing pool against a couple of lesbians. I did have to pull that streak out because I knew that they had as well. And I did win. I did win. And it was special. Anyway, stayed over at Emma's, and then it was my friend Keen's birthday drinks the next day in the evening. Before that, I actually went to dinner by myself. Guys, can you believe? It was so girl in her 20s that knows it's all going to be okay. I was sitting in a restaurant in King's Cross near Colesdrop Yard called Kimchi, and it's a Korean restaurant. I had kimbap and battered tofu and battered vegetables, and it was special. No, it was. It was so nice. I was sitting by myself listening to a podcast, journaling. They literally had Gracie Abrams just on repeat. It was only Gracie Abrams playing. And I was like, they knew I was coming. Like, that's my sister a little bit. And I was sitting down, eating my kimbap and my battered vegetables and tofu. And it was just like, yeah, this is what life's about. Then went to Keen's birthday drinks. It was in Frank's Cafe in Peckham, which if you haven't been, it's basically like, think like top of a car park, open like air, looking over the skyline in London. Like, it was so rogue. Why did I think I was going to pull up to a cafe a little bit? I was like, wait guys, I was literally going to order a coffee. Why are we on top of a car park in Peckham? I don't get it. And of course it was like all the hot young creatives around, and I was like, ugh, I just don't have time for this right now. So I actually didn't stay. I stayed for like 30 minutes because my phone was dying. My brother was away over the weekend. Why does this have any significance to the podcast? Well, he lives in the house just up the path on the farm. So when my brother goes away, Kit Costello comes to play. And I was in that sounded really cringe. I'm so sorry. But I was in his house, and I just love it. I love my independence, guys. I need to move away from the farm. It's getting to a point. The storyline is running dry. It just gets to a point where you're like, ah ha ha, I live on a farm. And people are like, oh, you're transgender. Like, that must be hard. All this time I've been like, oh yeah, no, but it's good for the storyline. And now it's like, oh no, I just don't really like it. I just think it's not even like anything like bad's happening. I literally just want to be around people my age and people that are like me. You know, I feel so stifled on the farm. Ooh. But I do love her. I love the farm so dearly. Genuinely, like, this is my sister. Like, I don't know if I've talked about this before. There's something I have coined the farm curse. Anyone of my friends or like romantic interests that were gonna come to the farm but ended up not coming to the farm, there was reason for that. The farm protects me because a lot of the time, specifically romantic interests, they've been like, oh, I need to come to the farm. Give me a farm tour. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, work. And then they never come to the farm. Thank God, because I look back and I'm like, thank God you didn't come to the farm. You didn't deserve coming to the farm. Don't even get me started. Something really fun that happened this week also, and that kind of like sounded alarms across the KCCU, is that I uploaded on Instagram. Yeah, right. I uploaded on Instagram and it kind of shook the world a little bit. It was a sexy post as well, a bit sassy. It was sassy. Of course it was sassy. It was me in tights and my underwear in a horizontal striped top, and that's how you know it's serious. It's Kit Costello vibes when the horizontal stripes are out. And damn, I looked hot. I did. And you've got to say it sometimes. And I was going to do like a funny little quippy caption, and I was like, no, I want to be sexy. So I captioned it something to think about, because I was like, I know you bitches will. And there are people out there that probably will be thinking about it. And I've seen the saves on that post. Yeah, there's people that saved that post into their collections on Instagram. What are you saving that for, Queen? I want to know. I would like to know. But yeah, posted on Instagram for the first time since May. Hopefully I'll be posting more. Not that literally anyone cares, but guys, it's kind of giving model rebrand at the moment. Like, I'm trying to become a bit of a supermodel because it's just like, I need to pay the bills, right? What else? I went back to London, stayed at Emma's again for the night. I went to get birria tacos. Guys, hands up who knows birria taco. I know her, met her, she's great, love her. Vegetarian, they're made with dragon fruit. Ooh, sexy. I just love like a deep, rich, flavoursome sauce, you know? And I don't think that makes me a villain. I really don't. Because when it comes with 2 tacos, a bit of lime on the side, a little bowl that has the birria taco sauce, and then guacamole with chips. Ooh, I ate that up. I ate it up so quick and so good. We had drinks as well. Oh my God. And it's celebrations. It really is. I got a little bit tipsy. I did get a little bit tipsy. And the drinks were very, very yummy. There were drinks that I've never had before, like giving like whiskey. It was all like Mexican themed. I mean, it was a Mexican restaurant, but I believe the drinks were Mexican themed as well. But it was just so like, oh my God, this is living. I do love London. Like, I love an overpriced food that's worth it. An overpriced drink that's worth it as well. I will be tapping in. I will always be tapping in. I just love experiences. Speaking of experiences, the next morning, Emma's flatmate, and I went to a bakery called Rice to Meet You, which I've talked about on the podcast before. Those queens over there. Hey, Rice to Meet You. Love you, queens. We're becoming locals there. It's serious. And we got banana bread. We got these like rice muffins, which were flavored with truffle and spring onion. I brought it back to the flat. I had a side salad and olives with it. It's just times like those where you just look back and you're like, oh, life is good. Guys, I can't wait until Christmas. I can't wait until Christmas. I can't wait until Christmas food. I love Christmas food. Oh my God. What I love about Christmas is just after Christmas. It's Christmas Day. It's the roast dinner on Christmas Day. But after Christmas Day, bitch, it's fucking Boxing Day. Boxing Day and the shit she comes with. Mama, what do you know about a broccoli and Stilton soup on Boxing Day? What do you know about leftover roast dinner? What do you know about cold pigs in blankets? I know it sounds clapped, but guys, genuinely, I geek out. I never have roast dinners, and it pisses me off so fiercely. And if any of my friends are listening, take me out to a roast dinner. Take me. I need a roast dinner. I'm so serious. Why does no one like go out for roast dinners anymore? It's always, oh, Kit, do you want to go for a coffee? No, bitch. I want to go for a roast dinner on a Sunday and a pint of Guinness. And a sticky toffee pudding to top it all off at the end, and we'll share it. Damn. Oh my God. I just love a roast dinner. And the roast dinner doesn't even have to be that good. Me and my friend Kim went for a roast dinner. Like, I don't even know when. It was like a few months ago now. It was after a photo shoot. And he was like, Kit, are you free? And I was like, well, yes. And he was like, do you want to go for a roast dinner? And I was like, hell yeah. And we went to this roast dinner and it was crap. The roast dinner wasn't great at all by any means, but it was the company and it's the memories. And honestly, a roast dinner can't be that bad. It was fine. Just like vegetables. I just don't think you can go out for a roast dinner that's as good as eating it in, because I like to pig out. I am not holding any prisoners when I'm eating a roast dinner, and I'm serious. Like, the amount of food that I eat during Christmas, it's like otherworldly, guys. I'm serious. The amount of food that is on my plate, the seconds I get, it's just like, it's special. It's something to be celebrated. What's my favorite part of a roast dinner, actually? I love red cabbage. I love cauliflower cheese. I love stuffing. I love the meat alternatives that I normally have. I love mashed potato. I love roast potato. I love caramelized carrots. I love parsnips, bitch. Oh my God. I love the vegan pigs and blankets that I get. God, you can't... Next. Okay, all of that from saying that me and Emma went to Rice to Meet You, came back that evening, stayed at Emma's again, and we did a tarot card reading. Guys, hands up who's done a tarot card reading, because I have. And it was the first time I did it that night. Yeah. So the tarot cards kind of read me. They read me, girl. I got the star card, upside down star card, which means, oh, I don't feel like a star at the moment, which is why I'm doing this episode, because if you've ended this episode being like, oh, funny, I don't feel like a star, well, bitch, neither do I. So we're on the same page. And I'm going to be talking through what's going to make me feel like a star in the future. My tarot card reading also said I basically just need to follow my intuition, which is something I literally told Emma like an hour before, which was crazy. It was just a great time. That's all I've been up to this week. Yesterday, something I love to do near like the end of summer, when it's transitioning into autumn, I like to do like a depressed farm drive, which is when I drive to the end of the farm. I walk up the village to the local Tesco, I get a snack, I get back in the car, and I drive to the lake, and I sit by the lake by myself with my headphones. Yeah, I love being by myself. I'm sorry. I love being around my friends, of course I do, but sometimes I do just love like, yeah, I'm by myself right now and I can just do anything. I love a little like trip away by myself as well. Like when I went to Brighton at the beginning of this year, special. Because most of the time I do nothing. God, I just sit in that space and I just do nothing. I just sit there. Love it. Anyway, that's the catch up of the week. Hope you enjoyed. Now let's get into the topic of the week on how do you become a star? So, of course, I have tips on how to become a star, which, by the way, doesn't mean being the most outlandish, most profitable version of yourself. Being a star to me just means being proud of yourself and feeling comfortable within yourself, feeling like the most well rounded version of you. Because I don't believe a star is only one thing, and that one thing to you can be something that makes you feel successful. A star has 5 points most of the time, and those 5 points can be different parts of you that make up you as the star. But sometimes if you're lacking a couple of those points, whether that's confidence and self-assuredness, it can make you feel like you're not a star. Girl, once again, I come on this podcast and I'm just like, oh, some of you bitches listen to crazy stuff on podcasts. No, I'm serious. These reality TV stars getting podcast deals worth millions of pounds. And I'm on here literally like the next Gandhi, the next Mother Teresa. And where's my $1 million deal? Huh? It just gets to a point. It gets to a point. And maybe that's why I haven't been feeling like a star, because I've been comparing myself to everyone. Before I get into the tips on how to feel like a star, I do want to talk about why I haven't been feeling like one and what's been going on in my life. So, first of all, hi transphobia. Hi transphobia, what's going on transphobia? Transphobia happened the other day. Not great. Not great time. It was Sunday, not the Lord's Day. Oh my God, me getting transphobically verbally abused on the Lord's Day, please. It's always tough. You know what's really harsh? And what I think makes your star fall out the sky the most, which by that I mean your confidence to fall the most, is when you feel good about yourself and you're out in public and then someone says something to you that makes you feel the worst that you could feel. Because it's so 0 to 100 or 100 to 0, sorry, because you're feeling incredible. And then all of a sudden someone says something to you like, that's a man. And then you're like, oh, okay, great. Oh, okay, grand. No, that's absolutely perfect, because that's what I wanted to be called. I walked out the house today and I really wanted to be called a man. Like, that's, you know, when I'm getting ready, when I'm doing my hair, when I'm doing my makeup, when I'm putting on my clothes, when I have my bra on, what I want to be called in that instant is a man. In that instance is a man. So, okay, the situation that happened, right. I was sitting outside my cafe in North London, my cafe, because those queens over there love me. And I was sitting outside because it was the weekend and we weren't allowed laptops inside, and that pissed me off. Because I was like, girl, it's not that busy in your cafe. Let me in. But they were like, no, you have to sit outside. So I was sitting outside, which then led to some random man having the nerve to come up to me. Mind you, this man's like, not my give. He's 5'7". He's American. He looks A-state and... pardon the pun, America, state, haha. But he comes over to me and I can tell that he wants it. Like, he wants me down. And he goes, hi. And I just like smile at him. And for some reason, he thinks that warrants him to come over to me and continue speaking when I didn't continue the conversation. And he goes, how are you? And I was like, oh, I'm good. And then as I started speaking, his face dropped and he walked away. So he didn't realize that I was trans until I started speaking, which, oh, okay. So all the respect that he had for me to say hi, because he thought I looked fuckable, basically, he was then like, oh, I just realized that you're transgender. So now instantly I have absolutely no respect for you and I am just going to walk away. Huh? Like, what happened to continuing a conversation even if you didn't want to get with the person, you freak? Again, freak, loser. Like, you're a loser, you're a freak. What weirdo? Like, I think in that moment, it really just made me feel, I kind of giggled a little bit. I was like, that's so rogue. But I also was like, oh, some people really just like don't have any respect for me baseline just because I'm transgender, which obviously I kind of knew that, but I hadn't experienced it in person to my knowledge anyway. But this was so blatant, like this guy wanted me in some capacity, but then realized I was trans and then just like dropped all respect on the floor and walked all over it. And I was like, oh, so that's interesting. Noted. When I speak, people think I'm trans, which is fine because I'm very aware I'm trans. Like, I'm very proud to be trans. If you can't, you know, get over the fact that I'm trans, you're not meant to be in my orbit, bitch. And that's why you walked away, Mr. 5'7". I'm not trying to be rude, okay? So I finished up at my cafe. My friends cancel plans because there's a tube strike and a lot of people have cancelled. So they're like, hey, we're cancelling the plans. And I said, okay, great. It's not like I've just come all the way to London, but sure. So I walk and I walk and I walk and I get to this little square where I like normally read. I've been there before. I like it. Standing outside of this square, there's these two young guys who look shady as hell. They do look shady. And in my head, I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be walking past these guys. But then I said to myself, I'm not going to let men control me. This man prior, Mr. 5'7", pissed me off. Like, I need to reclaim my femininity and my strength and just walk past these two guys. So I walk past them, and one of them looks at me with Mr. Googly eyes and is like, hey. And I was like, hi. No, I didn't say anything actually. He looks at me and he goes, hey. And I was like, I just like kept walking. And he goes, how are you? And I just like smile and I walk past. And then the other guy standing next to him goes, you know, that's a man, bro. And I was just like, no, this is like not what I need right now. Like, I've already been hit. I've been hit. I have been hit. I've been hit down twice. And the thing was, I was sitting on that bench in that square and I was like, oh, so one guy didn't perceive me as trans until I started speaking, but then the other guy saw me as trans before I started speaking and I didn't even speak. So it was kind of like, oh, I can't win. I'm okay with being perceived as trans because I am trans. Like, of course I'm trans. Hello. I love being trans. Very proud of it. And I always will be. However, people's perception of trans people is what it is politically right now and is what it is socially right now. It's laced with hatred. It's laced with disrespect. It's laced with unearthliness and alien. You feel alien. You just feel like you're not worthy of being a part of society. You do feel othered. And I was sitting in that park and I had a jumper in my bag. I was wearing a little t-shirt and I put the jumper on and I was like, oh God, I just want to like be swallowed up by the ground. I just want to go away. I don't want to be in London anymore. I just want to be on the farm. I want to like be in my bed by myself. And slowly but surely that like star shine around me started to dwindle and it quickly started to fade and I started to feel very just crap about myself, to be honest. And all because like men that never would have stood a chance with me in the first place disrespected me. And if you're listening to this and you've gone through something similar, I really want you to know that like these people hold no space in your life. They hold no space in your head. If you're ever feeling down and then those memories of those people come back, because that's what always happens when I feel down. If I'm feeling crap about myself, I always think about the last person that disrespected me, whether it's someone I was dating or whether it's someone that I saw in the street and was like transphobic towards me. I think about them. They come to the forefront of my head. But I don't want you to do that because these people you never should have even like been with these people anyway. And the gag is like, you never were going to be with them. These people aren't meant to be in your life, and that's why they don't understand you. You're not meant to be part of their life and vice versa. And thank God I'm not, because those people are going to do nothing with their lives. And that's the God's honest truth. Like, these people will be stuck in dead-end jobs until they die. And that's just the truth of it. Like, wait, let's see what the audience thinks. Right. Like, don't be transphobic to me. Because the thing is, I love to read. I love to read someone down, which by that I mean like be rude to someone back. But it was at that point, first of all, it was two young guys and I was like, I don't really want to get beaten up right now. But that's what you have to think as a trans girl walking around London. You have to think like, is it worth me getting beaten up to reply to these people, or getting taken the piss out of and made a mockery in front of everyone? Like you're some kind of like court jester in the middle of Islington Square. Like, please. I literally just wanted to go and sit in a park. And I, back-to-back incident, got transphobically verbally abused. Like, ridiculous. It was so stupid. And I wish that I would go back and I'm not a violent person, but I wish I could just punch them in the face. Like, I'm sorry. I am. Like, I would never do it. And I couldn't do it. And I wouldn't do it. But like, in my head, I relish in the idea of doing it. So I walked all the way back to the train station and I was just like, what am I doing, girl? Like, I just feel like I'm playing a character all the time. And sometimes that's what it's like being trans. You feel like you're constantly playing a character, even though if you're just playing yourself. But sometimes the character isn't even your transness, it's the confidence that you hold. Because sometimes you don't feel confident. But walking out into the world as a trans person, you have to hold a certain level of confidence that a lot of people will never understand. Walking out into the world knowing that it could be the day that you get abused and just going out anyway, there's a level of courage and there's a level of confidence that people just will never understand. And the reason why people are rude to me in that way is because they know that they'll never have it. And they also know that they're attracted to me and they feel uncomfortable within themselves because of that. And why wouldn't you be attracted to me? I'm not trying to gas myself up, but like, girl, I've seen you. I know what your standards probably are, and I exceed them on every level, bitch. And just because I'm trans, you think that that like threatens your masculinity or your straightness? Like, be serious. I never would have gone for you anyway, and I think that's probably what gags them the most. That both times I was not interested in them. But it's moments like that where I do lose my star power. But the star power never leaves. It's there, but it's just that the light dims a bit. And it's also moments where I'm comparing myself and feeling like I can't do something, or that I'm not as successful as the person next to me or that's in the same field as me. It's so easy to do that, and it's easy to feel like you're behind on so many levels, but it's just such a waste of my time. The reason why I wanted to do this episode is just because it just gets to a point. It gets to a point where you can't be feeling sorry for yourself anymore. Yes, I probably should be feeling sorry for myself if I'm getting like verbally abused, but I don't want my whole life to be dictated by what people say, specifically by what men say. And by guys that I've like dated or guys that I've seen in the street that have been mean to me. Again, I don't want those voices to come up in my head. Like, it's not even worth it. Going forward, how am I going to feel like I'm a star is continuing to go out, doing the uncomfortable. Because after that happened, I did back down. I was going to go out other places after that, but I said, no, I just want to go home. I literally just want to get on the train. I want to go home. But I was like, I can't even face that right now. And one of my first tips, aside from going out of your comfort zone in that way, but just going out of your comfort zone in any way, whether that's going on a date, whether that's meeting a new friend, pursuing a new opportunity, going out of your comfort zone is something that's really important. And for me right now, that's doing Fashion Week. God, I don't like doing Fashion Week. It freaks me out. And I try and find excuses to back out of it. But sometimes you've just got to face it head on. You've got to be uncomfortable sometimes, because you never know what's going to come from that uncomfortability. Even if you don't get the job that you want to get, going out and knowing that you've done that, going out and knowing that you've gone out of your way to do it is like a pat on the back in and of itself, because you got through the day. And to be honest, it's literally a day. It's a day of being uncomfortable. And I can guarantee you, if you step into the uncomfortable thing, while you're in it, you won't feel that uncomfortable. Because when I'm doing Fashion Week, when I'm doing something like that, I always big it up in my head. And then I'm doing it and I'm like, oh, it's actually not that deep. If anything, it's just, I just feel inconvenienced. To be honest, I'm just like, ugh. I just got declined from a casting that I traveled an hour and a half to get to. It wasn't scary, but it was just an inconvenience. And you kind of rise above it in a way, which is quite nice. And that's when that star power comes out, because you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, I could do that again. And then if I then get on the runway, which is something that scares me as well, it is doing that. And it is facing those fears so that you can learn from them. And I think also a star owns up to what they're afraid of. It's easy to tell yourself like, oh, I'm not scared of anything. But sometimes you are. And laying out those moments in your life that like, okay, well, I'm actually a little bit scared of doing this. I'm going to own up. I'm a little bit scared of this type of person. If it's a man, gag. So the next time you do have an uncomfortable situation happen, you know how you're going to handle that. You know that you've done it before, and you know that you can do it again. I think it's also important to just start it right now. Whatever you think is going to bring you confidence, whatever you think is going to bring you comfort as well, start it right now. I know this sounds silly, but like, investing in yourself in small ways really, really helps you out. And if anything brings you confidence, get it. And it can be silly things. For example, God, this is so stupid, but sometimes I don't feel hot when I have my massive Sony headphones on. I don't feel hot, to be honest, with them on. And I've been toying with the idea of buying those wired headphones, because I know that I feel hotter when my hair is in front of my face and it's flowing and I feel pretty. But when I have my big headphones on, I don't feel confident. And I've been putting off buying these wired headphones because I'm like, oh, it's just such a waste of money. But it's not. Because if it's going to bring me confidence, I'm going to radiate that confidence when I'm walking down the street. And I want to feel sexy when I'm walking down the street. I sure as hell do. So that's what I did recently. It's little things like that you know that is going to bring you confidence, and it's going to bring you calmness as well. Something like buying a Dyson Airwrap. I know it sounds frivolous once again, but I was stressing out, girl. Recently with my hair, I have been stressed. I have literally had a little bit of a spiral about my hair because I'm like, My hair holds so much of my femininity. The ritual of doing my hair and watching my hair, you know, almost become feminine when I'm doing it, when I'm straightening it, when I'm curling it, it makes me feel good about myself. And my hairdresser told me, Kit, you've got to stop doing that. It made me feel a bit uncomfortable because I was like, this is what makes me feel confident. Therefore, it adds to my stardom. It makes me feel like a star when I have my hair done because I feel sexy, I feel confident, and I exude that. So the idea of not doing my hair freaked me out. But the only other option was for me to get a tool that was less damaging for my hair, which is something like a Dyson Airwrap. And I decided to invest money into myself. And I think it is looked over. It really is. And I don't mean, buying an endless amount of clothing, but if that's something that brings you confidence, by all means do it. For me, that's not, I don't find that much confidence in buying tons excessive clothing, buying little pieces here and there that really make me feel confident when they're like unique little pieces that, intrigue people, that intrigue me, that add to that stardom, that individuality. With the Dyson Airwrap, for me, it was like buying that and knowing that it's an investment in myself. Just do it, buy it, go out. And it doesn't necessarily mean, when I say, go out and do it, it doesn't mean to like go out and buy the thing. It can literally mean go out and see your friends. Go out and seize that opportunity that you're a little bit scared of, whether that's a work opportunity or if that's something that you've been asked to do that you're not 100% sure on, but deep down, like maybe it's the best thing for you to do. Sometimes you're uncomfortable and you don't want to do it. And there are times that maybe you're not in the headspace to do that and you do sit that one out. But sometimes, in my experience anyway, I know I can, but sometimes I'm a little bit lazy or I just can't be bothered. And I'm like, oh, maybe I just won't, just because it might come around, the opportunity might come around again. With Fashion Week, I know that there's always going to be another Fashion Week, but you don't know the opportunities that you'll get this Fashion Week. And that Fashion Week can be a metaphor for anything in your life. You know that opportunity might come around in the future, but the opportunity that's happening now, for example, let's say it's a party. There are going to be parties in the future, but what if the party that you're going to go to now, you meet a friend that you'd have for life? It's just about seizing the opportunity when you can and not making an excuse for it. I have written down here making an effort. And again, that can be with jobs, with friendship, with yourself, putting in an effort to make yourself feel nice, to make yourself feel confident. I think an overarching theme of this topic is really just confidence in whatever shape or form that comes to you. What makes you feel confident? For me, smelling good is what makes me feel confident. I like to smell good. I like to layer my perfumes. I like to have my deodorant correct. Because baseline, I know that people will leave me and be like, oh, she smelled great. I wonder what she's wearing. So I invest in my perfumes a little bit. I make an effort to smell good. I make an effort to look as good as I possibly can, whether that's doing my hair, my makeup, my skin routine. It's just about making an effort. And that's, personally, going out of your way to make an effort to see your friends, making an effort to be uncomfortable, to put yourself in situations that maybe you wouldn't necessarily want to be in. By that, I mean, if you don't like going to parties, go to parties. If you're more comfortable staying in than seeing your friends, sometimes you've got to push yourself out to go and see your friends. And by being a star, I don't mean being famous. I did touch on this at the beginning of the episode. I don't mean being famous. I don't mean like, oh, you're going to become a star. Like, you need to do this for your branding. It's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. This is an episode for like an everyday person to just feel like they are worthy. Because sometimes I go about life and I don't feel like I'm worthy, especially when stuff like I talked about at the beginning of this topic happens. When that kind of stuff happens, I don't feel worthy. I don't feel like I should be investing in myself because I do have that mentality of like, what's the point? But making an effort with myself, it reminds myself that I am worthy. And again, something I've done recently is journaling and go, I know all of you are rolling your eyes. Stop talking about damn journaling for once. Journal. It literally will make you feel so much better, more concise in your brain. Because journaling can consist of so many things, whether that's manifesting, whether that's just writing out your day. I love journaling. I love my video entries on my laptop because I just like to talk. I just talk. I make myself giggle when I talk. When I'm writing down, it doesn't have to be serious and like monolithic. It can be you writing as if your life is a rom-com. One of my last points is doing things for yourself, even if people don't agree with them. Don't look for validation in everything and in everyone. I used to really seek validation from those close to me, specifically people in my family. I used to really, really seek their validation. And I think that's something that I'm really trying to work on at the moment because it's something that I learned when I was younger. I thought that if I was validated by the people around me, specifically the people in my family, that I would be loved. And I didn't need to be seeking their validation to be loved, because my family loved me unconditionally. But I grew up with this idea in my head that I had to impress them for their love. And I think that kind of seeped into my friendship and into my romance. And I think there's something very striking about doing something that kind of catches people off guard, saying something, having an opinion that catches people off guard, not something that's going to harm other people, but something that is unique to you. Being a star is about being unique, and it's about holding values and opinions that maybe other people don't. And being trans, of course, is something that people don't agree with, but I do it anyway. I don't seek people's validation. If I did, I wouldn't be trans. I probably wouldn't be here, you know? After what I was talking about at the beginning of this topic, I would have detransitioned and I would have just like went about my life as a boy. But that didn't cross my mind once. I don't seek validation from those type of people. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't seeking validation from anyone, because I do. You know, I think even posting this podcast, posting on Instagram, posting on TikTok, that's seeking validation in some extent, but I don't think I do it as much as I have in the past. And that's something that I'm proud of. Specifically with my family, I'm definitely not. I think there's also so much respect, I think, that people gain for you when they realize that you're not doing it for them. And I think there's so much beauty in noticing that. Like, people in my family, you know, they probably wouldn't have chosen for me to be trans. They're very happy that I am, and they're very supportive of that. But it wouldn't have even crossed their mind to be like, oh yeah, Kit, let's make her trans, you know? But because I'm doing it, and I'm doing it unabashedly, I can tell that they're proud of that. I can tell that there's respect that's earned from them from that. When I see my friends being themselves, and when I see my family members being themselves and having, you know, opinions and speaking up for themselves in their own way, that is what I gain respect for them from. But I think, to wrap this topic up, I think being a star, it's making yourself feel like a star. It's investing in yourself. It's making an effort with yourself before making an effort with anyone else. Because if you don't feel like a star, no one else is going to see you as a star. So you really have to go out of your way to make yourself feel worthy, to make yourself feel star-like, and to make yourself feel like you can be perceived as someone that is a star. Because if you're going around the world waiting for people to tell you you're a star, I don't think people are going to do that. And also, if you're doing that, you're waiting for people's validation. And just as much as you'll thrive off the validation, you will feel terrible when someone doesn't give you that. So something that I want you to take away from this episode is that to feel like a star, you have to tell yourself that you're a star, and you have to invest in yourself. You have to protect yourself, your peace, and that star energy will radiate onto other people, and they'll see you that way. But I hope you enjoyed this topic. Let's now get into the recommendation of the week and the vinyl of the week. The vinyl of the week this week is Guard Dog by C Rose. I was almost convinced that this artist's name was Sorrows. I've been informed that it's C Rose, which isn't sitting right with me. I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I love his music. This album's so gorgeous. It's the type of music that I see myself making in the future. Once again, I'm soft launching my music career because I don't want to gain popularity and then people to be like, oh, Kit Costello, like, she's trying to have a music career. Like, oh, she's just like, no. I have wanted a music career. If you guys know, you know I put out a couple of songs when I was like 18. We don't talk about that time, but I did, okay? Guard Dog by C Rose is one of my favorite albums at the moment. Recommendation of the week this week is Sweet Treat. Get yourself a sweet treat to have with a tea. My favorite sweet treat at the moment is a gluten-free millionaire caramel biscuit from Tesco at the moment. Girl, you don't even understand. I have to finish this episode up, but before I go, I was having this coffee salted caramel walnut cake from M&S every day for a week, and now it's gone. And I'm so sad. Like, that cake was so nice. I was having like a massive slice of it with clotted cream and a sleepy tea. Life was good. You know, like, back then life was good. That was like a week ago. Life was good. Anyway, that's the vinyl of the week and the recommendation of the week. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please make sure to rate it on Spotify and Apple Podcast. You can leave the podcast a written review on Apple Podcast. Please, we need to get the podcast back in the charts. Thank you so much. You can follow me personally at Kit Costello on Instagram and on TikTok. You can follow the podcast on Self-Interrupted Pod on Instagram and on TikTok. You can follow me on Substack at Self-Interrupted Podcast. Nope, at Self-Interrupted with Kit Costello. But other than that, I'm sending you so much love. As always, Kit.